Today's a bit different since first period is replaced by a mass on Wednesdays. I arrive a few minutes early among the steady stream of other students who are slowly trickling in. I look around to see if there's anyone I know. I imagine since this is a fairly diverse campus, not all the people I know will be here. Towards the front pews, I see the dark hair and little red horns of Ava poking out amidst the crowd of students. Not very common to see the front pews of a Catholic church filled, a detail many priests like to half-joke about once in a while during their homilies. I see something about Catholics feeling that they have a more private spiritual relationship with God. Also, you're supposed to leave the front pews open for people who are handicapped. That's just a courtesy thing. This contrasts many other Christian denominations who feel a more publicly outward connection. Which is funny, as in a lot of Protestant denominations, we kind of feel the opposite. If I had to guess, a balancing the two is probably in everyone's best interest, with each his own. Not far from her, I see the back of Damien's head facing forward. Currently kneeling in prayer, so I don't think I'll go and interrupt. It would surprise me to see Clover or Arya here, so I look to see if Sarah or Renan made it, assuming they're coming. Coincidentally, soon after I think this, I hear a familiar voice behind me. Good morning, Gabe. Yo, morning. The difference in dynamic between the two is obvious. Ren usually appears to get a slower start in the mornings, but is ready to go, while Sarah's clearly always at her best regardless of the time of day. Good morning. This sort of thing is optional during the week, but does that mean you're Catholic too? Not really, my family is Southern Baptist. Oh, wow, we're actually having a little bit of a cultural cross-contamination here. That's close enough to a worship service to me. The Christian church is made of many different denominations of varied belief. Non-Catholic Christians are usually referred to as Protestants after the Protestant Reformation. Some Protestants prefer to be referred to simply as Christian or non-denominational. Non-denominational that's a messy kettle of fish that I don't feel like getting into right now. Baptist, Methodist, Anglican, Lutheran, Evangelical are a designation of non-denominational. Technically, yes. Technically, no. Baptist is the denomination, so most Baptists would probably be offended to be referred to as non-denominational. If the game developers want to talk about this, I would be happy to spot things from the Protestant point of view. I grew up in the Southern Baptist Church. So hit me up. DM me. Let's talk. Excluded from this are a list of certain notable sects such as Jehovah's Witness and Mormons due to extreme departure of doctrinal and dogmatic beliefs surrounding the nature of the Trinity, among other major disagreements. Let's not get into that. That's messy. That's muddy water. Generally, Baptists would not refer to themselves as non-denominational. Baptist is our denomination. Now, Baptists are considered an evangelical sect, but non-denominationals are usually just a bunch of virtuous. I shouldn't be too mean. I went to a non-denominational church once, and it was so as long as you're just vaguely nice to everybody, it's that is not how Scripture works, and don't you ever forget it. Yeah, I don't want to get too into sectarianism again. It's messy, but I think it's really interesting that they're talking about it, even if this description is a little bit wrong. I would like to. I'd really like to talk about this. Please, let's talk about this. I still go to a local Baptist church nearby some Sundays. You should come sometime. I don't know if that'd be the best for me since I'm Catholic, but I have no reason to refuse if Sarah asks again in the future. Here's the thing. Southern Baptists will accept anybody. You can just come as you are, at least in the ones that I've been to. They're generally very understanding, and if you come from a different sect, okay, well, we'll disagree on some stuff, but you're still welcome here, and Southern Baptists know how to cook. If we ever have any kind of internal tension, it's usually diffused by someone barbecuing. You will gain weight if you go to a Baptist church. I'm sorry, I'm just warning you right now. That's how it be. I have to think on it a bit harder if she gives me a more serious offer later. I'm not really anything, but whatever will give me some meditation time before I go to work is good by me. Not quite an orthodox opinion, but I'm glad Ren's here nonetheless. Surprising me to learn this like any other new friends. Everyone has such a wide variety of beliefs, despite what the school implies. I think that goes without saying. Regardless, I'm also glad they're here, so I won't have to awkwardly find a pew to sit in alone. We respectfully tread down the aisle so we gotta find a spot where we can all three sit. I pull down the kneeler and say a few quick prayers to start the kneeler. Can someone explain what that is? Ditaku, help me. It sounds like a cushion or a chair to kneel upon while in prayer, I suppose. That's my guess. In a short while, the music director greets everyone and announces the song for the opening procession. Most people open their hymnals to the specified song. We all rise while Father John and the altar servers reverently process into their places. Good morning, students and visitors. Everyone applies in unison a good morning, Father. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Amen. The Lord be with you all. I reply along with the rest of the congregation, and with your spirit. Okay. This is learning for me. I don't really know how this works. My brothers and sisters, let us acknowledge our sins and so prepare ourselves to celebrate the sacred mysteries in the Mass. Early in the Mass, we prepare ourselves with a prayer that asks for forgiveness of sins, which readies us to listen to the Word of God. Some may say that the Mass is overly ritualistic, but I like it just fine. Well, some people prefer that, though. Something I learned in my religious instruction. Pretty much every part of the Mass itself either directly quotes sacred scripture or is derived from it to prepare us all to increase our holiness throughout the Mass. I don't know, something about that wording. Can someone kind of explain this to me? Like, I genuinely want to know. Because it's, in my understanding of it, humans are not holy by our own inherent nature. We are sinful. God alone is holy. So, like, if there's a different kind of theological view on this, I'd really be curious to know. As Mass continues, I notice Sarah fidgeting beside me. Maybe the pews aren't very comfortable for harpy physiology. Her instincts are doing just fine, though, despite having a bigger tail which is wrapped around her and settled in her lap. After Father John does the gospel reading, I make sure to try to focus on the homily. In this day and age, it seems like most young folks are drifting away from God. Now, I don't want to be accusatory, but the data on this doesn't lie, and you're not the ones to blame, mostly. For every new Christian that enters the church, about 10 walk out the door. Why is that? I often believe it's due to a lack of not just faith, but also action. In the letter of James chapter 2, verses 14 through 26, the author describes to us what happens when we claim to have faith, but that faith is empty as shown by a lack of works. So what is a church without the faithful actively working? It's dead, I tell you. Yep, that's actually, it's talked about in Faith, the Unholy Trinity as well. Faith without works is empty. It's a resounding gong. Hollow. It's a lot of noise, but no substance. We can clearly see that by the numbers and even the individuals that we encounter on a daily basis. For just as a body without a spirit is dead, so also faith without works is dead. So how can we revive this faith in ourselves, in our peers, and our loved ones? Fortunately, it doesn't have to be as boring as you may first think. It doesn't have to feel burdensome to get up and help out. But simply being a loving friend and family member, you can utilize that special thing you're good at to evangelize to those who might not see the light of Christ everywhere. You can participate in programs that promote justice and dignity to those who aren't often afforded it. Feeding the hungry is pretty popular, but what about the imprisoned? Despite what acts prisoners may have committed, they may as well be forgotten by society. A lot of the times, that's very true. And nothing turns around the recidivism rate like a true conversion of heart through faith. And it won't undo what they've done, but it may prevent them from coming back to prison. That's actually a really big issue, is because our prison system, especially here in the United States, is so uncaring that usually the best way to survive is to get involved in one of the prison gangs. So they'll fall into the ranks of a gang, and thus they'll be very prone to recidivism when they get out of the penitentiary and just end up right back into it again because they're then involved in violent gang activity. This is especially true for nonviolent drug offenders, for whom the frequently used 3 strikes laws will frequently put them into the same incarceration as very dangerous murderers and very dangerous gang-related criminals. It's actually a really big problem. Faith-based missions are probably some of the best things that we have to nip that in the bud and help these people get away from these kinds of activities and the people who would influence them into them. I did not mean for this entire video to become a sermon. This is definitely going up on a Sunday. May even bring forth a new great evangelist. Look no further than St. Paul himself, former persecutor of Christians. Then there's beauty. Artists, musicians, actors, you can all create and perform for others to witness to the gospel. There's so much beauty in the church already, but how much better for it would be shown than through the work of mankind itself. And finally, it's time for church leaders to stop dumbing down the faith. Yes, that is very true. Nothing turns someone away from the faith faster than giving them a non-answer to an earnest question. There's no excuse to get someone asking a hard question about the faith an overly simplistic answer like that's just the way God made it, including personal ignorance. That being said, I invite each and every one of you to strengthen your faith by questioning the difficult things that you haven't found answers to. That is a very important aspect of apologetics. Why do you believe? Well, find out. Like I said earlier, the information's there. You can find out. There is so much discussion and information to dig into. Don't read one book and be satisfied with that. Read tons and tons of books on the subject matter. These things are important. These are philosophies which has guided the entire Western world into greatness. You owe it to yourself to understand why men and women throughout countless centuries have been willing to die for these beliefs. Read about it. It's important. If you can't find the answers on your own, come see me or another trusted spiritual director. In closing, whether believers or not, Catholic or non-Catholic, human person or monster person, we're all made in God's image. This is an interesting thing. I read about it once, and one of the theories about what it is to be made in God's image is that of free will. Like, what separates a human from an animal? Well, animals are driven by their instincts, and humans are driven by the will to choose. We humans have the unique capacity to act outside of our own best interest, or to act altruistically, or in some cases, we even have the option of acting out of pure spite and malice. But that free will is to be made in God's image. So it wouldn't technically matter if it was, say, a human person, or a vampire, or a slime person, or a dragon person. They would still be made in God's image if free will was within their purview. We're all born with that divine spark which guarantees that we ought to be treated with equal dignity. And through the same divine spark, we're all equally called to serve Him, either directly or by serving others to increase our faith and love for God, others, and ourselves. Amen. The congregation applies with a solid Amen. The rest of the Mass goes on as usual. I received the Eucharist as do many other students. A surprising number appeared not to do so. I'm guessing most are non-Catholic students and visitors. I do notice, however, that Ava doesn't partake, which is odd because I thought she was Catholic. If I recall correctly, she was in line for confession just this Sunday. Did something happen between now and then? Regardless, it's not my place to judge. Let's send a little prayer her way in case she's struggling with something. Unsurprisingly, Sarah and Ren don't partake either. I recall having learned something about this in my religious instruction class. The Eucharist is reserved for those who have discerned the Spirit and believe in the real presence of Jesus in what was once mere bread and wine. This is called transubstantiation. This is a belief that certain sects have where the bread and wine actually become aspects of the flesh and blood of Christ as it is being ingested. My sect does not believe this. Again, oyster crackers and grape juice. It's a thing. We do not believe in the transubstantiation. We believe it is symbolic, that we are taking in Christ in a spiritual sense. Now, honestly, I believe the differentiation in this is pointless. If you believe in the transubstantiation, fine. I really don't think it matters. Honestly, wars have been fought on less, but I think it's a stupid thing to fight over. I wonder to myself what those things actually mean. The real presence and discerning of the Spirit. I think it has something to do with confession and being right with God. Deserves looking into. Maybe I should ask Father John sometime. Regardless, even if they can't receive communion with us, those who are from other faith traditions are still our brothers and sisters in Christ. Correct. I take a moment to pray that one day we can all be united as one again, and that we may once again worship at the same table under the same roof as we are all called to be. We're one body, regardless of our sectarian differences. After Mass, Sarah, Ren, and I wait for Ava to go to class. On the way there, we also bump into Clover and bring her into our small group. Nothing of interest happens in the morning classes till I hear a noise behind me from Sarah. Psst, hey Gabe. Trying my best to be subtle despite her persistence. I turn my ear and look with my eyes towards her to let her know she has my attention. I don't want to get her in trouble again like the other day, after all. So me and some others are thinking of going to the arcade tomorrow afternoon. Are you up for it? Arcade, huh? I think that'd be pretty fun, actually. Might give you a chance to see some of the town while I'm out to boot. I give her a quick thumbs up to let her know my answer. I can feel her smile beaming behind me. Didn't really expect to be doing this much my first weekend at a new school, but my destiny seems to be led down a more social path. I wonder who all is coming. I have to ask her after class so I don't get aggro from the teacher. I would not want to anger a sheep. They will ram you with those horns. As soon as the class ends, Sarah gets a head start at the door before I can ask who I'll be coming. Oh well. It's lunchtime now, however I don't feel particularly hungry today for some reason. Maybe I'm just excited for tomorrow already. For now I just decided to wander through the halls thinking to myself, I wonder if I should get more reading done or something. So along the hallway thinking about what I should do, I came across a less occupied hallway that appears somewhat out of the way from the rest of the school. Curious, I venture down the corridor as the chatter of the other students going to lunch slowly dissipates. Around the corner to another wing that appears less used than the rest of the school. This is I went for music class yesterday. To go deeper into the hallway, I heard a muffled shredding of an electric guitar coming from somewhere within. I noticed the light on one of the rooms, which is hard to notice at first due to the light from outside still beaming in from the windows. I approached the door curiously and leaned into view of the door's window to peek in. There I see Arya jamming away with a cool and shiny black electric guitar with a white spider lily design on the head. Okay, this is... So, fun story. Dutaku convinced me to play this thing called Snoot Game, which was also a visual novel that was a parody of another game called Goodbye Volcano High. And can I just say, like, the weird, mysterious, aloof punk girl who plays guitar thing is so overdone. I get it. Okay, I get it. There's a lot of guys who are into the gloomy goth girl motif. I'm just not one of them. And maybe that's a me problem and not an everyone else problem. I just wanted my thoughts known. Snipped into a mid-sized amp with a red rose sign on the top left corner. Seems to be a fan of floral rock and roll iconography. I Watch for a moment, not thinking about how it would appear if she caught me staring in. She continues her eyes closed. I seem to feel the final vibrations of the song she's playing. My self-awareness returns as I notice what I'm doing. Yeah, it's a little creepy, dude. So I turn around, back off, and go about my business. To do so, I actually bump the door of my backpack and it hangs on my zippers, causing all my books to fall out. Whoops. Wow, Gabe. Nice dexterity roll. Kneeling down in shame, I collect my belongings, taking my time as I know she's probably approaching the door now. I was expecting her to open the door in the middle of you picking up my mess. When I stand back up, her face is right at the window at the door, looking right down at me. Hey. She opens the door for me as I ready my apology for intruding. Come in. Sorry about that, I didn't mean to. Don't worry about it. Just come in before you attract any more attention. I hurry inside at her request. Arya shuts the door behind her, leaving me in an awkward position of being caught after listening in. I was walking by and I heard your guitar playing. No kidding, I also know that this wing of the school is empty at this time of day, and you'd have to be walking out of your way to get here, too. Want to explain that? I was bored and looking for something to do. So you make a habit of wandering down empty school corridors. Would you believe me if I said yes? I pray my attempt at humor lightens the mood. Not really, no. Darn it, I didn't think it would work. It's not used having company in here while I play. Sorry for intruding. This is where I used to play with my bandmates before they graduated. It's been different without them here, but I'm getting used to it. I guess you can't meet up with them as often anymore, huh? No, they ought to get jobs, though we still do meet on occasion. You have to keep the band together, you know? Especially if you want to... Never mind. What was that? I guess I have some kind of goal in mind, but since she doesn't seem to want to share, I won't press. What genre do you guys play again? Alt-rock, punk, metal, industrial. Basically anything with a darker vibe. True to her looks, then. Not to criticize too harshly, but I could have guessed most of that from her appearance alone. Not that I mind, I have nothing against the look or the genre. It's not my scene. Let's say that. Anything you're willing to play in front of me? What, your free concert wasn't enough? You remember me with an encore? Arya puts a slight smirk on her face, apparently amused at our discourse. She readies herself again and begins strumming her guitar as before. Melody seems improvised, not too familiar, but it definitely has a feel of someone who knows her stuff. Not that I'm any kind of expert to judge. I sit and listen for a while, mesmerized with the sound of her guitar. I've never been that deep into music, but hearing someone play live awakens some kind of spark within me. It all seems to want to pick up an instrument. Almost. I sit here and enjoy the music until its completion. As she finishes, like she did before, she lets the sound reverberate through the room while we soak in the last note. Bravo! I'm impressed. I must have practiced a long time to get this good. Thanks. It wasn't easy, but it's been a great way to escape anything that's been going on in my life, so I just kind of attached myself to it. Never had the opportunity to play anything myself, so seeing someone so skilled up close is something else. Well, I take that back. I was forced to play a recorder in elementary school one time, but that didn't last very long as my parents could only stand hot-crossed buns so many times in a row. I feel kind of self-conscious for taking up too much of her practice time, so I decided to give her her space back. I don't want to keep you from practicing, so I'll get out of your hair. Arya doesn't respond verbally to this, but she does give me a little smirk. I'd like to get a list of those recommendations you mentioned earlier, if you don't mind. Want to trade cell numbers? You're pretty smooth for an underclassman, I'll give you that. She holds her phone out with her contact information, and I enter it into my phone. I'll see you in a few days, getting started later tonight when I get back to my room. I hope this is one of those games where I have freedom of choice. Because Arya is honestly the least interesting of the girls in this game. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's just like because this is like a tutorial leg. Like maybe they're trying to get me a feel for like each of the girls' individual personalities. But like I really hope she's not some kind of like forced canon route. That would be so lame. Especially because evangelical dating is a terrible idea. Don't date someone with the intention of changing their religion. It's never going to work. I'll wait in eager anticipation. I bet you will. And she gives me a final smirk, I head out the door and back into the hallway. Almost as soon as I shut the door, I can hear her start to play again. It's no wonder she's so good. I think about inviting her to the arcade get-together tomorrow, but decide against it. Yeah, it's not your place to do that. I don't know who else coming or invited to begin with. Heading back to the cafeteria, I find myself already regretting my decision to skip a meal. Nice job, idiot. By the time I get to gym class the other day, I come to fully regret skipping lunch. Coach starts today's class with some warm-ups and has us run a mile on the track by letting us choose what to do for the rest of the period. Draw that movement so little fuel, so to join the girls in the bleachers today. Clover, Ava, and Arya. Be careful to avoid Ren, and especially Sarah's gaze. I know she would pull me into their group in a heartbeat. I head over to the empty space around Arya, Clover, and Ava. I approach the girls with a quick greeting. Yo! Clover is the most obviously social of the group, so no surprise she greets me first. The others hardly look up from what they're doing, except Ava, who looks over her book in my direction. Mind if I sit here? Nah, just telling Ava about all the exciting new things that FFKO is doing in the newest update. FFKO. Final 14th Nights Online. Oh yeah, it's been a while since I've done any good long-term gaming lately. I'm meaning to try out the Shady Souls series. Womp womp. Don't let the memes fool you. It may be hard at first. Once you get used to the controls, it's a matter of perseverance and skill. You'll still be looking at the Mortis screen. Is that a Faith the Unholy Trinity joke? I appreciate that. But have enough faith in yourself. You'll get through it. I'll keep that in mind. Gaming is practically my religion. I don't think there's a single series I haven't at least dipped my toes into at this point. I don't doubt that at all. It'd be safe to bet to assume that Clover could talk about games for hours if I let her. Speaking of religion, I know this is a Catholic school and all, but that doesn't mean everyone here is Catholic. Are you Catholic the school implies, or do your views differ any? Clover seems to give that question a bit of thought, pauses for a bit, putting a finger just under her mouth while she does so, then just shrugs. I don't know. I don't really think about it too much. Maybe something up there, but I don't see the point in making a big fuss about it. Clover's answer is a bit surprising, to say the least. An atheist and an agnostic going to a Catholic school. That's probably more common than you might think. I don't know. Law of averages. I guess it shouldn't surprise me too much, though. Ava's probably Catholic since I saw her in line for the confessional, but I still want to hear her thoughts on the matter. I want to hear what Arya says about the topic, too, but maybe I shouldn't. Sensitive topic. It kind of is. People hold their beliefs, and their beliefs mean a lot to them, and having them challenged even in a non-threatening manner can be kind of upsetting. Speaking of Arya, even though I already know her musical taste, that could be a safer topic to include more people than just since everyone listens to music. TV shows are another safe topic that I'm sure give me some insight to everyone. But that's what everyone has a show or two they're streaming, whether it's popular stuff or something older and niche. I'm going to redirect the conversation. Now would be as good a time as any. Interesting. Honestly, I know enough about any of these. You know what? Let's try TV shows. Let's just shift gears here a little. What if anyone watches the same kind of stuff I do? So much content to consume, I doubt anyone had time to watch it all. Like, comment, subscribe. And all this builds up over time. It's no way that it can all be consumed by everyone who's interested. I'm willing to bet a lot of content will be lost in time, especially less popular things, gems or not. Creators must get to a point in their career where they wonder if they'll make what will stand the test of time, or it's just a job to them. I think there's some truth to both elements of that, especially in the days of digital media. I mean, one good solar flare or EMP and it's all gone. YouTube is just a distant memory at that point. And yeah, there might be backups and stuff. That doesn't change the reality that it's all a little ephemeral. But it's like, what's the most important thing for you? To do it, or to do it as a job, or do you do it because that's what you enjoy doing? That's kind of where I stand. I do YouTube because I enjoy it, and I like sharing these weird, eclectic games. I know for a fact that I wouldn't have played like nearly as many of these games if I didn't. I would not have a Twitter account if I didn't start the Snek, and I've found a lot of indie games from my Twitter feed. So, you know, these things bleed into each other. I transition the conversation over to the new topic. What kind of shows do you watch? Usually I have a show up on stream while I'm gaming, unless it's heavily atmospheric or cutscene heavy game. Stuff like anime, sci-fi, just VTubers being silly. You know, a lot of Monster Girl VTubers have gotten popular lately? I don't really know too much about that scene, but I imagine it's the same as any streamer, except they play a character's personality the whole time. Some do. Some VTubers literally are just themselves, to be fair. Can't say I'm familiar with VTubers. I've watched a few streamers before. I'd rather play games and watch them being played. Depends on the game. I get that. I only really watch for the funny interactions they have together. Sometimes I feel like it's its own form of drama TV, except more like if anime characters are always doing impromptu acts. You just gotta find a personality too that you like and get swept away in the stream. I think I saw one of those streams once. I think it was a fish girl. She's talking about her viewers calling them her prawns or something. That's a Dalgura reference, maybe. There's a couple different like whale and shark VTubers around. That's a really popular motif. I didn't take her as a type for watching anything like that. Yeah, she's a dolphin girl. She called her viewers Shrimpletons. It's a whole different level I don't think I'm ready for. Ava, what kind of things are you watching? She thinks to herself for a moment, toying with her bookmark. Honestly, not all that much. Sometimes my parents will have something on and I'll sit next to them while reading, but nothing's ever captured my attention. I tried watching a show based on a book series I liked, but it just didn't feel like anything how the book was written. I assure you that you're not the first person to have an opinion like that. In most cases, it's universally agreed upon to be true. It's funny how almost everyone comes to that same conclusion. Well, I mean, think about it. Like, in the book, you're picturing what the text is saying. Like, maybe the author viewed it differently in their head, but, like, to you, you'll have your own personal interpretation. And then there's just certain things that are just not pragmatic. Like, the original Jurassic Park film changes a lot from the original novel. And overall, I'd say the first novel is better than the first film, but the second novel sucks. And the second movie is not that good either, but the movie in that case is better than the book. But it kind of feels like Michael Crichton didn't have his heart in Lost World, so yeah. There are exceptions, of course, but by and large, books and movies are just too different of mediums to be 100% faithful to their reproduction. Arya? I have to pass on that one. Not much of a TV person, I respect that. Now, it's probably that she doesn't want you to know about all the witch and magical girl. Just the pen hits Clover in the face with a quiet thud interrupting her sentence. Ow. I get it. No mentions of your tastes. In the meantime, Arya looks away and he's listening to her music as if nothing happened. It's hard to get to know her better if I want to find out her tastes outside of music. I don't want to. This Clover and Ava were a lot more open about it, so it wasn't all for nothing. I hear Sarah call out to us and come to a free throw contest. So I'm hungry. I don't really have an excuse not to, so I agree. I'll be down there in a bit. So I shouldn't keep her waiting. Seem pretty competitive out there. Have fun. Raise my hand to wave bye. Clover does likewise. Leva nods towards me, putting her focus back on her book. I head down to the bleachers where Sarah, Ren, and Maya are waiting. There isn't much time for me to warm up, so my first few shots are a bit sloppy. I managed to beat Sarah's and Ren's score, but Maya takes the cake with a perfect 10 out of 10. Apparently Sarah and Ren had another running bet that I couldn't beat either of them, but since I beat everyone but Maya, I was granted immunity. Not to bear in mind how competitive they are when it comes to sports, I don't keep ending up as a target of their bets. Yeah, I totally ditched you. I don't care. I do not feel the least bit bad about it. I feel bad that I think the scene that I got instead was interesting, but my intention was to go to the library to see Ava, but I don't know, I think the prompt was worded a little oddly. Final bell of the day comes, lunch my relief. I can skip down on lunch earlier if I had to never do that again, or at least give another breakfast bar in my backpack for emergencies. Grab a quick snack from a nearby vending machine, I head to the library to get some more of my reading done, just a change of atmosphere. Entering the library once again, I take in the atmosphere again, while the voices in the hallway slowly fade. I seat myself at one of the tables away from any other person so I can concentrate. I suddenly let myself get immersed in the points that the author's trying to get across. I suddenly know something cold and wet hits the back of my neck. You know who that is, okay? There's only one cold, wet person we know. I look around to see what it could have been. I noticed quite near enough for it to have been someone around me. I look at the leaky air conditioner vent. I've seen something like that happen before in buildings with poor maintenance. Whatever. I rubbed the water off my neck and turned back to my book. It's another short while, I feel it again. What the heck? As I say this aloud, I stand up and quickly look around. Clover is sitting in her usual spot, the big gamer setup working its magic. I keep my eyes in her direction for a bit longer to see if I can catch her in the act. It doesn't take long for her to peek back towards me, then jerk her face back forward. It's suspicious. I decided to sneak around the long way to get her a blind spot, ready to spook her. As soon as I round the corner, gotcha! Cold water hits my face, which seems to be coming from her fingertips. Her hands are a finger gun, shaped like a thumb up, with her pointer finger still aimed at my face. She does the water drips from my forehead. You got me. Neat trick. I say it's half amused, half impressed. Can't be entirely mad. It's a really unique skill. Many years of training in the art of finger guns. Gotta say, it's not really a fair fight. I have to find some way to get back at you somehow. What was that Damien said about slime people are weak against? Maybe we can use that as ammunition against her. They don't like cold. Slime people weak to the cold. When does it still put her in her place? If you're not careful, I'm going to sneak up behind you, pour some ice down your back. Clover freezes in mock fear, utter defeat on her face. You've been doing your homework, I see. Seems that I have a formidable opponent now. Fine, I swear I won't screw with my finger guns again for a week or so. Shimon was the last part, but I still catch it. I decided to play along anyway. Alright, I'll find something else to use as revenge, like hard candies. Oh, please do, I prefer sweet candies. Nothing sour, though, it shocks my taste buds too much. Okay, I'm not sure where you taste it. To hit the back of your head, you're just going to absorb it in? Not until I identify what it is, you know? There are too many things that get stuck in my body to just absorb anything that gets stuck in me. What a strange conversation. Never in my life assumed that I would be talking about how a slime person works to a slime girl, no less. Since I'm technically taking a break right now, why don't you show me what you've been up to? I didn't really get a good look at it the other day. Yeah, sure. So you're familiar with FFKO already, right? Yeah, Final 14 Nights Online. Never played it, but it's an online action role-playing game where you fight monsters and interact with a bunch of other players. Those are the basics of any MMO, but what makes this one different is that your one character can take on any role or class the game offers. Sounds like a lot to get into. So going to take a while to catch up to you? Nah, game has a nice pace from beginning to end. Except for Realm Reborn. Realm Reborn does not have a nice pace, just being honest. It's better now. I played through an alt character right before Dawn Trail dropped. I got to Heaven's Word, and yeah, Realm Reborn is such a slog. I just still don't know what kind of commitment is something I'm ready for. So I can shift topics to other games. I don't know if I'm ready for that, but I've been looking for some new single-player games to play. Any recommendations? See a wide variety there already. Not missing a beat, even amidst fighting hordes of monsters on screen, Clover responds to me excitedly. What's your poison? Pick a genre, any genre. I'll have recommendations and you'll have time to play. I'll have to insist, if you want to get back into gaming, I wouldn't mind having an IRL friend to play Final 14 Nights with. The game's having a promotion for new players soon, so it might be a good time as any to start. I'll consider it. It does look pretty high quality. As long as it doesn't get in the way of my other things, school activities. I'll watch her mow down more enemies before the world she's in and think what types of games I might have recommendations for. Something story-heavy. You're hearing a lot about cinematic games, stuff that has a deeper emotional plot. I meant more like story-based RPGs. Sure you don't want to just watch a movie or read a book? Just seeing there's plenty of stuff like that I'm into. First off, you have these movie-type games you're talking about, which still usually have quite a bit of action to them. Then you have visual novels. Usually anime art style, but some very Western VNs have been doing a good job keeping up, too. Little, self-referential humor. Actually, the Stay Fake Gate series is... No! 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 No, no! No, this is a good Christian game. Don't start dragging people into that nonsense. Uh, I don't have words to even begin on that one. As well as the Octory Games trilogy. Octory? Like Octopath Traveler? I don't know what you're referencing there. If you don't mind a bit of slice of life before seriousness, try the Love Dove series. Imagine the visual novel audience is a bit more hardcore than the anime fandom. Then again, it does have the benefit of basically being a book with visuals and music. Maybe trying one will broaden my horizons on both the gaming and anime front. Action. I'm looking for something fast-paced. Something that'll test my reaction time, get my blood pumping. I see. Something fast and challenging. So, Shady Souls. Just about everyone complains about difficulty, but once you learn your movesets as well as your enemies, you're golden. Then there's the first-person shooters. Always been a fan of classics like Mood, and Quarter Life, Halfway to Destruction. Fighting games can also get your blood pumping if you're competitive with it, but they're casual fighters for newbies too. Really are a lot of genres in the action realm, but those should get you started. Thanks, keep them in mind. Something you just want to lay back and relax, do nothing for hours at a time. Got anything with a nice chill vibe? That depends if you want casual games or not. Trifecta of comfy cores, Mineshaft, Terrarium, and Anime Crossing. That's one way of looking at it. There are lots of sandboxes like these. They're the ones that became the most popular. Then there's simulation games. Ram World to Roller Coaster Capitalist, or anything where you just build things and watch your little peons do work is pretty chill. Rhythm games can be relaxing once you get better at them. Sure, they'll pump you up their music. Once you get into the vibe, your body and mind will sync to the music. Sounds pretty comfy. I keep that in mind. I'm gonna pass time. I'm gonna still play here and there, so I'm not too serious when I'm bored. Points your finger aside and monitor with all the little games seemingly playing themselves. See these little gacha games I have open here? No need to really grind to this extent. I just like to make sure I have all the characters every time they're released. That's not necessary to beat the games. Most people just play the story sections, do their daily quests, and occasionally go hard during the events. Now, I don't recommend them for most people because it's very possible to get addicted. I mean, like you? Guilty. I can make as many excuses as I want, but at least I'm not spending money, but all the time I spend could go to better use. I just like all these cute characters. I'm a kleptomaniac. I can stop anytime, I swear. Okay, keep telling yourself that. That I do. But anyway, pick one of these and I'll friend you on them and boost your teams up. Alright, I'll give one of them a shot. Should I ask for any others? That's everything, so that should be good for now. If I need any more recommendations, I know who to ask. I think I'm fun to make a note of all the games she suggested. It's the only way I'm going to remember even half. You know arcade with anyone tomorrow after school? Yeah, Sarah told me about that. I wasn't sure who I was going, but I guess it makes sense for you, it'd be too. Does it, though? I'm an introvert. Self-aware one at that. You're not a complete shut-in after all, are you? Don't let my sharp wit fool you. I had this conversation going right back into the zone. And I read Ava coming along, too. Ren's a fan of fighting games. Sharpen your skills if you want to play with her. Ava? She's surprisingly good at rhythm games. I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it myself, but it's a fact. What about Arya? I was thinking of asking her to come along. She doesn't seem to have a lot of people to hang out with. Arya? Sarah and her don't get well that much, so I doubt she accepted an invitation. Some sort of bad blood? It's a religious difference. Sarah was raised hardcore evangelical Christian, and while she seems fine around people like me who don't care, she has a problem with Arya's dabblings into the occult. Pagan stuff? It's a bit more of a surprise to me than just hearing that she has issues with religion. No, that's actually not surprising at all, given the skull motif. I mean, glorifying death. Never really taking that stuff seriously, considering the myths and the silly shows that air about witch covens and whatnot. She seriously into it, or just a fascination with it? Dunno, doesn't really concern me all that much since I'm not close enough to Arya or Sarah to get involved. Just saying, if you want to invite Arya, keep that in mind. I'll think about it. In the meantime, I won't keep you from what you're doing here. Besides, I was going to try and finish this book before you snipe me across the library. Sorry about that. No, you're not. No, you're like a cat. You are not sorry about anything. No worries, see you tomorrow then. Laters. Clover waves again, still facing your screen like before. Maybe she does well on her test tomorrow, despite my assumption that she hasn't read her book. Then again, if what Sarah said is true, she might not have a problem being naturally smart. Wonder if she'll pick up on the knowledge only found in these books, however. Oh, well, not my problem, I guess. Better find some place out of range of Clover's antics if I want to concentrate this time. I used the library with my books still in hand, thinking where the best place to read could be. Thought crossed in my mind, I never did check out either sports club. I mean, I don't have to go if I don't want to, but what's really stopping me from going? Couldn't hurt to check one of them out. Maybe use the opportunity to hang out with Sarah or Ren. I still have enough time to read tonight and tomorrow, though. It's not like I won't have free time. If I don't check out one of the sports club, I'll probably lose interest in them altogether. Oh, so you're warning me now. Okay. What the heck? Let's check out... I promise I'd check out the... I did not promise. She promised me. But honestly... Okay, I see your game dev. I mean, I don't dislike either of them. Of the two, I like Ren more. Allegedly, I was supposed to go check out the basketball club. I'm going to the martial arts club. I don't care. I'll check the martial arts club. Probably the most unique sport I've even been remotely interested in. On top of that, let's see how Ren performs against the other participants. I saw her the other day warming up with her club mates, but I never actually got to see her fight. Pretty hyped to see how she performs, honestly. I decided to join. I hope my body can keep up with my spirit. Yeah, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is Snek. I arrive at the field and track area like Ren specified earlier. I wonder if they even have gym space, too, if this is for training outdoors. All the martial arts club members are in designated tearaway fighting arena, complete with coated foam padding on the ground. Right now it appears they're in the middle of the sparring practice. Groups of two are fighting it out in each section with a few people outside the rings waiting their turn. Amongst a group of fighters, I see Ren sparring with a tall guy who seems to be holding his own against her. With a kick like that, I would have my head lopped off. I approach the arena and take a seat in the nearby bleachers to watch. Ren takes a kickboxing stance, one foot in front of the other, which is far back behind her, keeping her balance. Her fists are up in front of her, enabling her to block every blow that comes her way. Out of the blue, she lifts her leg up high over her shoulders and kicks her opponent the side of the head. What an impressive kick. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that. Her opponent stumbles back but recovers quickly. He comes back to face her, his fist also in front of his face, ready to swing. He jabs forward at her, getting a few good blows into her side before going in for a grapple. We'll see he gains the upper hand until Ren gets the better of his balance and flips him over her shoulder, straight onto the ground. After a while, it's Ren's turn to take a break. Not long after, she notices me in the bleachers and calls out to me. Yo! I get back as she heads towards me, sweat pouring over her face and neck. Yo, working hard, I see. Every day, so you decided to come after all. Despite the results of the bet, martial arts seem more my style. Good to hear. Sorry about being a poor sport yesterday. I take things very seriously, you know? Anyway, are you here to try out already, or... I just came to watch for the day, just kind of see what stuff you guys do. Okay, don't hesitate too long. I don't want to see you after you before you make up your mind. I don't think it'll take me that long to decide. Besides, I think I'm already feeling a burn from watching you guys sweat out there. If you say so. What do you typically do to keep yourself in shape? You don't appear to be the type that veggies out in front of the TV or computer. But you don't seem to have that much muscle either. I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or an insult. I think she means well by it. I mean, I have a basic morning workout routine. Push-ups, sit-ups, squats. Nothing too intense, although I could improve my diet a bit. I can help with that if you truly care to improve yourself. What kind of things do you typically eat on a day-to-day basis? My diet isn't anything I'm necessarily proud of, but it's something I could improve upon. I mean, mine is lots of meat, but... honestly, this dude is like all about breakfast bars, apparently. Breakfast bar, and then kind of eat whatever else I can get the rest of the day. Ren shakes her head at me with her eyes closed and looks back at me with a somewhat stern look on her face. That's no good. You gotta treat your body better than that. I know they're usually filling and even often have protein powder nowadays, but there's so many unhealthy ingredients in them, like hydrogenated oils and preservatives. Seed oils. I know, I just kind of get in a hurry sometimes. That's no excuse. There's always time for proper health and nutrition, especially if you plan ahead. I know she's right, so not my head in shame. Not against constructive criticism, I suppose. If I do join, I'll probably need a lot of work on my diet and workout routine before I can spar with someone like you. Ren laughs at this. She finds it amusing that I think I have a chance, or is she happy that I'm willing to work on myself? We've all got areas to improve upon. Don't take it personally. I just think it's my business to help anyone on the team improve. I want what's best for everyone here. That's what teamwork's for. Elevating each other to our highest potential. Gotta say, she's really selling this for me. Camaraderie seems to be lacking on people in general today. What better way to improve than by lifting up your fellow man, or a girl in her case. It's about my time to spar again, but do you have any questions for me about the martial arts club? Nothing in particular, but if it comes up, I'll let you know. Sounds good. Keep up the workouts, maybe you'll push a bit further every day. I keep that in mind. Rin jogs back to her sparring circle and tags a new person in with her. I'd watch her a bit, amazed at her form. She never seems to lose a fight. I wonder if there's any real competition for her here, or if she has a rival at another school somewhere. Sometime I make up my mind to head back to the dorm to catch up on my reading assignment. I feel a little bad now. Like, knowing then what I know now, I would have at least gone and checked out the basketball team. Lost in thought on my way to the dorms, I wander about the campus before making it back in one piece. On my way to the room, I run into Damien again. Fancy meeting you here again. You come here often? What's up, Damien? Going to another meeting? Of course. Meetings are the bread and butter of bureaucracy. But it's fine. I enjoy the work I do for the school. Pretty curious what exactly it is the student council does. My old one is basically just a shell of a group that just approved things that were already going to happen anyway from the adults in charge. What is it you guys actually do? I mean, beside the meetings. We're in charge of planning various annual school events. Aside from that, we do a lot of public ministry outreach programs sent to help students increase their faith through good works. It's a bit more involved than I would guess most of their student councils are, since there are always people in need and things that need doing from a faith perspective. That really makes me feel like I haven't been doing enough as a Christian, considering all that the school does. Don't worry, if you feel called to do anything, there will be plenty of opportunities to lend a hand. Still, for some reason, a bit of hesitation of action inside. Wonder if it's laziness, sloth, or something else. I don't know. I always felt like kind of lukewarm, although I feel the tug a bit. Sometimes it feels like it's stopping me, and I don't know what it is. Don't stress about it too much. I wasn't always as involved as I am now. Damon has a reassuring look on his face. For some reason, it calms me a bit. Let me tell you a story about what finally got to me. I was a cradle Catholic, similar to your situation. A few years ago, I went through a confirmation class, the one that designed to help you learn to expect and where to go. During the first lesson, the instructor took a Bible, threw it on the ground in front of us, and posed a question. What would you say if I told you everything in this book was a lie? You'd say all of us were speechless, having led sheltered lives before this, most not once questioning our faith. This is my first introduction to what the church calls apologetics, which is a fancy term for a defense of the faith. During this instruction, we were given the tools to both question our faith and how to find the answers to those difficult questions. That's not where my faith journey ended, though. I took this opportunity to seek more wisdom, particularly in the Bible. For the first time outside of the church instruction, I read the entire New Testament by myself, something I hadn't actually done before. After that, I additionally read a few select books in the Old Testament, particularly focusing on the collection called the Books of Wisdom. I fell in love with my faith, and by proxy, of course, Jesus. I don't know what took me so long to go down that path. I might have blamed a lot of leadership or lack thereof in the church itself. Faith instruction has been sorely lacking for decades from what I hear, clearly mirrored by the vast number of people leaving the faith every day, not to mention the child abuse scandals that peaked in the 1970s. Fortunately, the church at large has taken great steps to protecting children through various programs like Protecting God's Children. That's neither here nor there. What matters now is how we plan to move forward to carry out God's will and right the wrongs of the past and present. I decided to go forth and become a better person so I can affect positive change in the world. That's the path I think God wants me to take. Needless to say, I'm a bit speechless. Wouldn't have expected someone like an instructor to go through that far to prove a point. I guess it might take something like that to get someone's attention, but what's important is the takeaway. It's okay to question your faith and seek out hard answers to hard questions. Perhaps I have some soul-seeking to do. I don't mean to keep you too long. Don't sweat it. I appreciate you opening up to me like that. That'll give you plenty to think about for sure. Glad I could be of service. Maybe not to change the subject or anything. Did you take time to think about my offer from 2 days ago? Oh yeah. So I put in a good word for me around the school if I had my eye on someone in class. The school's homecoming system gives the girls the advantage of asking someone out, so that might be my only chance here to get a date. Why not? It certainly can't hurt somebody I trust its intention. So anyone girl with my eye on more than the rest of them. You joke. That wouldn't go over like a lead balloon. Though, if you must know, notice Ava showing a bit of subtle curiosity towards me when you talk. I wonder if it's similar religious upbringings. Totally. She's a book nerd at heart, but her soul belongs to God and His church for sure. If someone doesn't swoop her off her feet in high school, she might just end up happy as a nun. This is all assuming she can keep her frustration levels in check. She does have quite a lot to say when bickering with Clover, for instance. She treats Clover like a sister already. I can't imagine how she'll be with multiple religious sisters. I get what you mean. Anyway, I'll spread some rumors of your piety that I'm sure she'll hear from somewhere. I'd rather be more true than not, thank you. Guess she'd better see you during both masses per week then, Brother Gabe. Pick up a reading hobby. Got a lot to catch up on. Not sure how much I'll regret this. What's done is done. At least Father John seems to trust him. He has an upstanding citizen to get his notice, or at least a good liar. Despite his outward appearance, he kind of comes across as a charmer and a smooth talker. I didn't get that impression. He just seems very earnest to me. Well, I have a date with the student council to get to. I'll see you around. Let me know if you ever need anything. Sure thing, take care. See ya. Damon starts back down the hallway again, throwing his half-hearted wave over his shoulder behind him. I was just the way back this time, recalling the absurdity of doing so last time. It doesn't hurt anything. Get over it. Back in the dorm room, I laid my backpack lazy on the floor next to my bed before retrieving my book. I fell back into my bed and lay back, reflecting on the day's events once again. The conversation with Damien provided an interesting topic of consideration. What am I missing in my life that's keeping me from becoming spiritually fulfilled? Having grown up in similar circumstances, sans being a monster person, I didn't think I had much reason to go deeper into my faith and weekly church attendance. And if I had someone that would have encouraged me to seek a deeper meaning, and I mean like in a really meaningful way, I would have turned out a bit more like Damien. There's no use in that kind of thinking, however. All that matters is what I decide to do from here. At least for now, I should focus on my studies and getting closer to my friends. I had a lot of fun today with the girls in gym class, even if it was just talking. Running into Arya and hearing her play was pretty inspiring, too. If I'd practiced in choir, I could have potentially be a rock star like her. Yeah, right, like that could never happen. It's fun to imagine, but Arya and her band look like they have years of talent and experience over me. And with no other talents, I could always just look forward to gaming with Clover. They did invite me to play her MMO after all, and the subscription looked pretty affordable on my budget if I don't spend much else. As long as I keep up with my studies, it shouldn't be that big a deal. And then again, maybe I have what it takes to join the martial arts club. If there's anything to say about it, it'd like to be a full-time commitment. Am I ready for that level of intensity? But also what I choose, I feel like I'll be having a busy school life this year. I get a text from Arya with a list of a few indie rock bands. Me imposing a text are things, but I stopped and recall my earlier intention to invite her to the arcade tomorrow with everyone else. We told me Arya and Sarah have some issues with one another, so it might not be the best idea to bring her along. Arya does seem to be left out of a lot of things. She does seem lonely, which is further highlighted by the fact that most, if not all, of her friends graduated last year. Be ashamed to leave her out. No, just thank her for the music list. No need for unnecessary drama. I don't want to inadvertently cause a whole bunch of fighting just by being thoughtless. It wasn't my plan to make, it's not my plan to adjust. I'll thank her for the music and move on to reading. She's a grade higher than us. I have no business inviting someone outside of our class or something like this. Yeah, not your plans, bro. I was texting her for the music recommendations, letting her know I'll listen to some tonight. What's done is done. I lay back on my bed to a few songs of the band she sent me. Feels like I'm reflecting on what the future holds for me at this school. What? Every one of my friends seems quite unique in their own regard. I don't mean the fact that they come from a diverse range of monster people. Each of us has a unique personality, background, and circumstance. The one thing that unites us is the fact that we're all created in the image and likeness of God. Regardless... Oh, she just shows up anyway. Okay. Regardless of who we are, what we believe, or where we come from, we're all united by this fact. I pray that we can all have very fruitful friendships that bring us closer to each other and a more perfect world than to God himself. Capital H. To all you reading Wholesome Monster Girl Academia, I hope and pray that you are getting something out of this as well. Peace be with you all, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Well, how do you enjoy the demo of Wholesome Monster Girl Academia? If you want to see what route you'd most likely go down, wait until the end of this little outro. If you want to follow for updates, check us out on Twitter, which I probably will because this really got me thinking. Forget to wish this game on Steam. If you don't have that, come join us in the Discord. I will not be doing that. Sorry, it's just not my jam. Director, writer, and programmer, Yamek, aka True Yamek. Okay, Yomek. Character artist, I'm sorry, Simon? Is that Simon? Simon? I'm sorry. CG artist, Joshua Lupin. Musician, Michi VGC, aka Chill Michi, aka Michi. Background artist, QS2435, aka Ari Anga. Sound effects, Ryunocore and public domain sources. GUI artist, M. Logo artist, Floppy Design. Thanks again for playing and come back soon. By the way, during this playthrough, I asked each of the girls their opinions about taking to homecoming, and this is what they had to say. Gaby's a good friend. He's not really my type. Yeah, I kind of ditched you. I deserve that. Perhaps he had some more school spirit. Doesn't really stand out much. Maybe he put some more self-improvement. He could shine more brightly for me to notice him. I could use a new rival. I remember him. Dances aren't really my thing. I probably wouldn't vibe with a normie. Nothing against him or normies. Just wouldn't know what to talk about. When you think of the boy, you mean it's not his friends. You mean it's something more. I don't know, maybe, but just his friends. Not really sure who you're talking about. The new guy, I don't have anything against him. Dances aren't my thing. So, they all hate me. Awesome. If you're hoping for a different result, experiment around with different choices. See you around next time. Don't forget to follow me for future updates if you enjoyed the demo. If you enjoyed the demo, consider wishlisting the game on Steam, so don't forget about it. May the peace of Christ be with you all. Oh. Okay, that was a very, very, very long demo. I thought 30 minutes to an hour, and now 4 hours later, I'm late for lunch. So let's wrap this up. This is super cute. I actually kind of thought that the title was sarcastic. I don't know what I expected exactly, but okay. So here's the deal. I get what you're shooting for, and I like it. I think it's really cool that you have a religiously themed game, and that's not the entire point. You don't just bludgeon us with the premise over and over and over again. There's times where you're not thinking about religion and you're not thinking about theology, where they're like, oh, we're going to the sports field, we're going to check things out and check out the different clubs and make friends, and Damien kind of has this weird insight on the different monsters and their different cultures. That's really good. I really, really like this. I had so much fun playing through this, and I was not expecting to get emotional during this, but I did. So apologies for that. This is just really good and interesting. I was blown away. This actually kind of touched me a bit. More the theological side than the dating side. I'm terrible at dating sims. It's not too surprising that they all hate me in the end. That's just my relationship with women on a normal day. No, this is really good. I'm fascinated by where this will go. I really want to see more. So I will definitely be following this. If you guys want me to do the full game when it comes out, drop a comment down below. This is definitely going to be part of my Sunday morning series, which should have started by the time I post this. I hope. Sloth. Like I said, sloth is the deadly sin that seems to find me the most. Anyway, this has been the Hipster Snek playing Wholesome Monster Girl Academia. Leave a comment down below. Who is your waifu? Who do you like the most? Me, it was Ava, but I still managed to fail to even impress her. So, I think my canon ending will result in single forever. That's okay. If that ends up that ends up being what happens. That ends up being what happens. So I will see you guys next time.